Hi there. So, welcome back to another vlog. I guess this will be my vlog for the month of February. So, that little intro piece that you just heard is just some of my guitar riffs that I have. I have a lot of stuff sort of saved up in my computer, my laptop. I'm kind of going through a lot of my old riffs that I have, stuff that I think might be cool for a project I'm currently putting together. Hopefully, once COVID and all the restrictions are done, we can start jamming again. I've got this bass player and drummer I've lined up, a couple of buddies of mine that we're looking to start a new project together. So, kind of seeing what riffs might be cool. They've shared with me some of their influences and, musicians they like and stuff they want to kind of emulate. So, I'm kind of thinking, keeping that in mind. And as well as I have all my kind of influences that I've sort of spent a bit of time lately kind of revisiting a lot of my influences. Um, so saying that, I guess I'll mention some of my favorites. So I've actually been listening to like certain albums that really influenced me sort of in my songwriting and my guitar riff playing. So if I go back, I'm actually going to start off with maybe like Slayer, Rain and Blood. Such a great album for riffs. That album was a landmark for them when they came out with that album. That really put them on the map with the big four. And of course also Megadeth, Rust in Peace is another of my favorite albums for the music and the riff work, besides having Marty Friedman playing the solos on that album. And actually lately I'm reading the Rust in Peace book, actually, that was recently released. It's got Dave Mustaine as the headline, but it's actually everybody's contributed in that book that was involved, of course, except for Nick Menza, who passed away a few years ago. But so far, I'm only about halfway through the book, and it's actually a very eye-opening and interesting read that I'm quite surprised on some things, actually, that I'm reading in that book. But it's another one of my big influences for especially riffs. I'm really concentrating on music with guitar riffs right now. And as well, another big one, everybody knows I love Dimebag Darrell and Pantera. And of course, Vulgar Display of Power was such a monumental album for them. And for me, it had such a huge influence on me when it came out. And I think that was what, 91. And I remember clear as day when that album came out and seeing it in the record store when that came out. And that just, the riffs, the diversity of the music on that album and how heavy it was such a departure from Cowboys from Hell that is another one of my absolute favorite. And of course, like Prong, The Cleansing, it's just such an awesome album for guitar riffs. So really lately I've been really listening to a lot of albums specifically for guitar riffs, and stuff that I really like. And of course, with newer music, some of the newer bands that I actually really like lately is groups like Nevermore. Of course, it's 7-string bass stuff, so it's really heavy, down tuned. So like Nevermore, and then Arch Enemy, which of course Jeff Loomis is now part of that group. He was pretty big factor behind writing all of the Nevermore albums, but now he's an Arch Enemy. And of course, he's one of my favorite lead guitar players, right? What can you say about Jeff Loomis? So, been listening to a lot of that. And actually, another group I'd actually gotten into within the last few years is As I Lay Dying. And I'd actually picked up their album before they had gone. Of course, all the stuff that happened with Tim Lambesis, prison and whatnot for 7 years. I actually picked up the album. Can't remember the name of it right now off the top of my head, but I picked up that album right before all that happened, and then I really liked that one album. And it wasn't until in the last few couple of years when they came back and that what was it, My Own Grave, I think it was that one try, and I really liked it. So I actually got that new album, Shaped by Fire, I believe it was called. And then now I've gotten into the back catalog. The Powerless Rise, I think, was another one, An Ocean Between Us. So I really, really love the music, the guitar riffs, the songwriting, and I'm hoping that maybe I can transfer some of that into that influence into some of the stuff I'm writing. So, and then of course, there's some of my favorite, not so well known bands, stuff from out here in Western Canada that I really like. One of my favorite groups actually was a group called Death Toll Rising. Now they were more death metal, but some of the guitar riffs that they wrote was just amazing. and I loved a lot of what they did musically. So that's like big. Their Infection Legacy album, oh, I just love that album. So I've actually been listening to that one a lot. And as well, another group I like is Die Hearted, out of Saskatoon. I know Robin, the singer, he's a pretty good guy. So I followed them for the last few years, and yeah, awesome music. I love listening to them, and especially for it's got a lot of power and strength in the music that I actually listened to. The one album, I can't remember, Defiance by One, I think it's called. I listen to that a lot when I work out, actually, because I just find it really pumps me up and gets me in the mood. And as well, I love the band Illyrian too, and I listened to their couple of their albums, especially Round Two Fight. I really like that album, and of course their latest album, of course. So been kind of listening to a lot of music lately, trying to find some influences. Sitting here in my room, writing as much as I can. To which I've actually got a nice new desk here, and I actually have more space. So I'm actually finding a better way to work. I've got my head rush board kind of set up. I'm still working on trying to find ways to record with it. And of course, that intro track, you heard some of the stuff off of that. So I'm really working on guitar tones, writing with the guitar riffs, just working on a lot of stuff right now. So, but besides that, I've actually been really concentrating on my health lately. As I'd mentioned in a previous vlog, that I was really uncomfortable with how much weight I had gained over, the last year with all of the COVID, that I decided I need to lose some weight. And then actually very recently I had a bit of a breakdown when I kind of realized I'm pushing 230 pounds. And I hadn't been that weight since I was like in my late 20s, when I used to bulk up for bodybuilding. That's when last time I was that way. Now I've got this gut and I've got to get rid of it. So I've actually really been concentrating on and working out more, working out here in the house. I've got an elliptical machine. I try to do what I can, but actually in my diet as well, I've actually, in the last week especially, I've cut out a lot of the added sugars in my foods and my diet. And I have noticed the biggest difference has been in my sleep. And I've always been someone that's kind of suffered from insomnia. I've always had a hard time keeping asleep. I have a very active mind, so I've had a hard time calming my mind at night, I find a lot. So cutting sugar has made a huge difference. I've dropped a few pounds already. I've got more energy. My moods have improved. But the biggest thing is I'm sleeping better. I've slept better in the last week that I have in a very long time. So there's something to say with cutting back on the sugar, the added sugars in your diet. Because I was actually watching a YouTube video that had mentioned that our grandparents' generation, in a full year, they would maybe consume about 2 pounds worth of sugar, added sugars in their diet. Whereas in today's day and age, it's said that the average person consumes 156 pounds of sugar in a year. So that's something to really make you think about how much obesity, especially in the States, and the amount of sugars that's in everything from, the pops, the colas. I'm even watching how much sugar is even in stuff like my flavored yogurts and whatnot. So I'm actually really paying attention. Even creamer to my coffee. A new thing for me to try lately is drinking black coffee. Or my favorite now is actually I started adding unsweetened almond milk, flavored unsweetened almond milk to my coffee in the morning. So all of these little things I'm finding is actually really helping. So I'm going to keep doing that. And hopefully I do have a goal weight. I want to get below 200 pounds this summer. So it's going to be a lot of hard work, a lot of half-hour cardio on the elliptical a few times a week, and just kind of watching what I'm eating and whatnot. Because with all the COVID stuff that's been happening, it's really been affecting me. Being isolated here at home so much, especially with it being so cold, I can't get out as much. Even walking my dog Jackson, it's too cold now. And so I got to keep active here in the house and try to get on the elliptical and doing yoga. I'm trying to incorporate more yoga again into my routines that I have. And it's so far, things are getting better. And of course, you always want to strive to improve, to be better. And, sometimes we fall off the wagon a little bit, I guess you could say, of our health. And that's something I'm concentrating on, because especially once it comes time to get back on a stage again to play live, I definitely don't want to be overweight, because it's I want to look good. I want to feel good, right? I want to perform at my best, right? Being in my 40s now, especially, I got to kind of look after my health a little bit more. So hopefully things get better in the next little while. So, but otherwise, not too much more is happening. Things are kind of quiet in the Siren camp. We're still trying to work on some stuff a little bit here and there. It's kind of hard with the COVID. It's hard to get together. What can I say? Like, it's a waiting game right now. And kind of seeing what's happening with the whole vaccine rollouts and having these delays now. And I know the big plan was to have everybody vaccinated in Canada by September, but I am starting to wonder about the vaccine rollouts. And, by the time they get to me, is it actually even going to be in 2021, or is it going to be in 2022? Right? And are we going to have live gigs? Is there going to be any live gigs this year? That's the other thing that's kind of brought me down a bit in the last while, giving me everything from depression and anxiety, is just wondering what's going to be happening this year in 2021, right? I know everybody was kind of saying, hey, 2020 is done. 2021 is going to have so much more to look forward to, but now it's sort of still a waiting game. And of course, now these new variants that are occurring now that we're hearing about, it's like, ugh. Is that going to make things worse again? People are going to get vaccinations in time. What's the future of live concerts going to be like? Is the other thing that's given me a bit of anxiety and kind of made me worrisome. So hopefully, I want to get positive, right? So let's just hope that things are going to improve and things will be better in the next little while. But it's a bit of a waiting game. So I'm working on trying to keep busy, trying to keep active, especially musically. I am doing a lot more practicing here at home, just because I am home all the time, and that takes a toll on your mental health, as well as the amount of isolation that you're at home so much. And of course, I actually do miss going to the office now. Believe it or not, I actually missed the travel downtown, the commute and whatnot, just because it got me out of the house and whatnot. So I'm trying to stay positive, and also, be active more here in my music room and practice more. Trying to work on some more of my lore stuff that needs to be kind of worked on, like my ear training. I'm trying to learn some stuff more by ear now, instead of always been somebody that's big on tabs and reading books and whatnot, and not so much in my ear training. So I've actually started working more on my ear training. So hopefully in the next while you'll see more stuff here, and like my Instagram posts and a little bit here and there tidbits that you're going to see a little bit more of me trying to learn some stuff by ear maybe. And of course, I have been cutting back a little bit on my social media, just because I find it can really suck you in and absorb you into that almost kind of a fake world, I feel sometimes. So that's kind of like I've been trying to push back, maybe only go on once or twice a day, just to see what's going on, see if I've got any notifications, and kind of go from there. So, but anyway, so I want to end this on a positive note, and just say that I am still looking forward to what's going to happen in the future musically for myself. I will hint that I have done a little bit of a guest solo for a band that I really like and I really admire. They actually asked me to do a guest solo on their next album. So that's all I'm going to say about that. It's something I'm looking forward to having it released and hearing it. And hopefully everything goes well with that. So anyway, so until next time, stay positive, stay healthy, keep the metal alive. All right. Please. Thanks. Shred on.